Hello guys, my name is Hugo, welcome to my channel. I'm a Los Angeles based DP and today I want to talk about DJI Mavic 3 Cine. So I've had it for over 2 months and I wanted to test drive it very well before making a video and talking about it. But as of right now I feel like I've tested enough and I've shot a lot of different kind of footage. So I made some points and I want to talk about those. So I want to say, like, when I placed the order, when I saw the release of the Mavic 3 Cine, I was surprised that it got so much more expensive. But I placed this order anyways right away, pretty much almost right away, and I had to wait for my order, and I started watching reviews about other people making videos about them, and I kind of got really disappointed from what I saw, because there's so many footage online that Mavic 2 Pro, the one I had before this one, and the one I had like for like 2 or maybe even 3 years, and it was a real workhorse, and I loved it, and it was a great drone. So, and there's so many videos showcasing side to side Mavic 3 and the Mavic 2 Pro, and there was not much difference. I didn't see much difference at all, and for those reasons I was kind of disappointed ahead of time before I even got it, because I thought like, oh shit, I bought this drone which is like almost 3 times more expensive. Why would I spend this money? What for? And by the time I got it, I was skeptical. I was really skeptical about what I'm gonna get and what kind of results I'm gonna get with this drone. And I took it to fly, and when I brought home, I was really surprised. I was surprised with the quality. I want to say in the right words. So the difference between the Mavic 2 Pro and this one was that this one has a way wider log profile, and what it does, it gives you way more flexibility to manipulate the footage. And because it's so flat, and I'm telling you, the footage is as flat as RE log or red log or any kind of stuff, like a real decent log, and you have the latitude of overexposing by 2 stops and underexposing by 2 stops. So you have this room. Like for instance, if you overexpose by at least 1 stop on the Mavic 2 Pro, there is no way you can recover this, because the D-log that is in Mavic 2 Pro is not as flat. With this one, you can easily go over by 2 stops, and that's probably the biggest thing in this one, because the dynamic range you get in here is like, on the paper, I remember Mavic 2 Pro was advertised as 12.8, and this one was advertised by 12.8, but this dynamic range is absolutely different, and it's not like, it's nothing like the one that you have in the 2 Pro. Even like the highlight roll-off is so smooth. It's like, I don't know, every time when you shoot towards the sun, you no longer have those circles. The roll-off is so nice and soft that you don't really see the edge of the overexposed area and where it gets some information. And I don't know, like, this is the drone that when I was flying, I found myself like, if you compare quality from this drone, I found like in terms of dynamic range and in terms of quality, it feels like I was flying like Canon R5. Like, probably this is like gonna be the closest comparison, because the quality from R5 is great and it has a good enough dynamic range, and this one has the same type of quality. So throughout my test I made some points and I want to talk about it. So what I like and what I dislike about this drone. I really do like the new cover, the one that goes over it. The cover was really improved, because I hated the cover that was on DJI Mavic 2 Pro. And this one I also like when you turn it off. The gimbal, it stays in place. It's kind of locked, and it doesn't move around, so it's easy to put it on. Where with the Mavic 2 Pro, you always have to play this game to catch the gimbal. So the biggest probably downside is that I don't know how come it's even possible that DJI basically releases a drone that costs $5,000 and doesn't have a D-Lock assistant. It doesn't have a LUT applied on. And this is just mind-blowing to me, because this is like, this is no longer a consumer drone. This is a pro division, I think, because for the price and for what you get, it's a real pro drone. And not to give the ability, I know they're gonna update it, I know they're gonna release eventually a firmware that enables this log assist, but it's just ridiculous because Mavic 2 Pro doesn't have this problem. You can easily preview with a LUT and you can expose properly. With this one you can't. You basically pay $5,000 for a drone which is supposed to be professional, but you are not able to monitor right. You cannot just set right exposure. I have to do what I have to do. I basically have to, when I fly, I have to change it to normal mode so I can see my exposure, and then I have to go back to D-Lock, and then I fly. And basically when you fly and you turn one way, usually in one direction, then the other direction, the exposure may change, but because it's so flat you can't really see that it has been changed. So it just probably the biggest basic that they have to do. They have to just make a D-Lock assist, period. Plus I quite honestly didn't like that. I mean, I'm not a like big fan of all these smart features and all that. I don't use them as much. I personally maybe like old school, I don't know, I just fly manually everything. But it's kind of ridiculous that they didn't release all the features right away, even though they ask you to pay that much. I mean, come on. Okay, so remote control. This is the big plus, because I really do like this new remote control. It's before I had DJI Mavic 2 Pro, just a standard remote control where I had to put my phone inside, and I knew I wanted like next drone to be with a remote control dedicated to this drone, so it has a built-in screen, so I don't have to use my phone. Sometimes the battery dies or anything, you know. And this screen is really nice because it's bright, and overall feeling of the control is really nice. So I really wanted this. I really like this, and I don't know, recommended, probably yes. I really do like the bag that comes with it. It's a really nice bag, and I like that it transforms to a backpack, so you can, I don't know, if you go hiking or you biking or whatever you do, like you can put it on. Super cool, I like it. And then the organization inside of the bag, it's a larger bag than the previous generation. So I like, because you can put more stuff in there. It's nice. Okay, triple charger. The triple charger is really nice. I also really do like it. I also do like that it has a USB-C port, so you can, if you don't have like the cable that comes with it, you always can find USB-C cable that you can charge it. What else? The battery life. The battery life feels significantly better. I mean, they advertise about 45 minutes. I didn't count exactly how much it is, but by the feeling, like when I was flying Mavic 2 Pro and I was flying this one feels like you have a lot more battery left every time you do something. So I really do like that. And I also really do like the way that the battery goes inside instead of going on top, because I'll explain you why. Like, first of all, I think it's more like a reliable solution, because on the Mavic 2 Pro, sometimes some of my batteries, because it was maybe too hot or was in a case where it was too hot, I don't know what reason, but you know that the batteries, when they blow a little bit, so they expand. And I had some batteries, I had a shoot where I had to travel to Hawaii, and I had only 3 batteries with me, and 2 of them were actually blown up a little bit. And because it was expanded, it didn't fit as like the way it's supposed to be. It was a little bit sticking out, so the locking mechanism of the battery was almost popping out, and I was like, I had to fly this day. I couldn't buy any more batteries, so I had to do this anyways with those batteries. I replaced them when I came back, but basically I was stuck with a situation where I had to fly with those batteries, and it was really on the edge that the battery could pop off by itself. And when I was flying, I constantly was thinking like, oh shit, it's even hotter right there when it's flying under the direct sun, so the battery maybe pop off. So I'm glad they redesigned this system, so right now you put in the battery inside, even something like wrong with the battery still can live a little bit and it's not gonna pop up by itself. Okay, image quality, overly sharp. So I noticed that I know this has a 5.1K resolution, but I feel like, I don't know why, like I really did like Mavic 2 Pro has this soft image, you know. It doesn't have this like I remember before Mavic 2 Pro I had Phantom 4 Pro, and Phantom 4 Pro and all other drones before, they suffered from the issue that the image was overly sharp, digital sharpness was applied. And I really did like that that Mavic 2 Pro didn't have that. It felt really organic. I know it was not as sharp as like any other drones, but it was organically enough. It had enough resolutions, you know. And with this one, when I started using it, I kind of felt like there is some kind of sharpness has been applied after, like a digital sharpness has been applied. I'm not a fan of this. I wish that they could give us maybe a firmware update or something, like some kind of control over the sharpness, so we can maybe adjust sharpness lower or high if we need to, because as of right now I feel like it's a little bit too sharp, on a little bit on sharper side, but it's not bad by any means. So another thing, like D-lock. So right now, I don't know, probably it's a minus. I don't know, I put it as a minus. So D-lock ISO minimum is 400. So basically you cannot go lower than 400 ISO. And I remember when I put in this down, this note, I was thinking like, I remember like if you fly 400 ISO on DJI 2 Pro, the image was already a little bit noisy, you know. And I was thinking like, oh shit, they're gonna make us do 400 ISO minimum on this drone. It's probably gonna be a little bit too noisy. But you know, when I was flying all these days, it feels like 400 ISO is not that noisy as it is on the Mavic 2 Pro, so it's absolutely fine. And I understand why they did 400 ISO, because you need this latitude. If it's on a floor, if you the ISO on the floor, you're not gonna get this dynamic range, you're not gonna get this as flat log profile as you get with this one. So I understand why they did so, but also on the other side, I don't understand why they did 800 ISO as max. So you can choose on 400 ISO or 800 ISO, and you cannot go more than 800 ISO, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, because I understand like this is probably optimal values, but sometimes you just want to go a little bit high, like you fly nighttime stuff and all that, and you probably want to push, like it was very often when I was flying DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and when I was flying at night, I was pushing ISO up to 1600, sometimes even 2000. Sometimes I really needed this. And it's kind of disappointed that I cannot do this with this drone, so I'm stuck with the 800 ISO. But hopefully they can fix it with firmware update. But if you want to go higher than 800 ISO, you have to switch to a normal mode. So you're not gonna get the advantages of D-lock, so you have to do like just a standard normal mode, which probably is fine when you do night stuff. But quite honestly, I don't know, like the highlights, the roll-off is like it's very different in the normal mode than you get in the D-lock. And even like noise, Noise, I tried yesterday, I was flying, I was trying to see if the noise is lower when you do in normal mode than you do in D-Log, and applied a lot, and it feels like you're not gaining any noise reduction when you do just in normal mode. So D-Log has probably the same amount of noise as in normal mode, so I don't know. Anyway, so I talked about battery design. Charging via the cable. That's a really nice feature I like a lot, because I'm not sure. I personally bought the Cine version, the most expensive one, and I'm not sure if the other one comes with this USB-C cable. Probably they do have a USB-C port, but I really do like this USB-C cable for a number of reasons. First of all, it comes with this dedicated USB-C cable that's supposed to be super high quality, or I don't know, high speed or something. But anyways, every time when I fly, I basically, because there is an SSD storage and it's built into the drone, I have to put it on a table, I have to plug the cable, and I have to dump the footage while the drone is connected to the computer, which is, in a way it's a downside, but in a way it's a plus as well. Like, downside because I always have to put the drone on it instead of taking a memory card out, and the drone has to be powered on while you transfer in. But on the other side, you will never forget your memory card, and you're not gonna go with your drone without media. You're stuck with the media always inside, so it's like it's a kind of reliable solution, so you're not gonna have those problems. But what I like a lot about it, that while you connect it via the cable to the drone, the battery on the drone charges, and it's not like a fast charging, but it's still a charging. If you leave it, like, very often I fly, I bring the drone home, I plug it in, I dump the footage, I turn it off, but I leave it hooked it up with a cable, and it's charging. And next day I come and I need to pick up the drone, I just take it, it's already charged, so I didn't have to pull out my charging station, all my charges and all that to charge it. It was already charged just because of this cable. So it kind of, I don't know, it's just so much easier for me. Like, sometimes when you just take the drone, plug it in, copy the footage, next day you come, the battery charged. So I kind of like that. What else? Gimbal sticking out. I saw some people were saying like the gimbal is sticking out too much, that it's if it falls down it damages. Probably yes, right. Probably that's right, that you can damage it more if it falls down. But I really do like that it's sticking out, because review angle, you can look up so much right now. I couldn't look up that much with the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. With this one I can almost, like, I don't know, 45 degree or something, but you can look up so far up, which is pretty cool if you're doing some shots from, like, if you go in from lower, looking up and elevating and changing, those shot looks really cool. What else? Control gimbal for side shots. Oh yeah, so that's probably a minus, because I remember in the DJI Mavic 2 Pro there was a feature where I could set my destination. For instance, I set markers, and I set that my drone is flying from one direction to another direction, and while I was flying I could adjust my gimbal and looking sideways. Like, if I have some shots where I was flying by myself and I didn't want to, like, I didn't have anybody to observe where it's flying, and basically I was set a trajectory, and I was set to the trajectory, and I was shooting like something on the side, controlling the gimbal on this. So with this one you cannot do this. It doesn't allow you to adjust the gimbal in a way so you can look side. Probably a minus. Didn't use it as much, but I don't know, sometimes maybe. Okay, signal. So I saw many reviews saying the signal is significantly better than the Mavic 2 Pro. I personally didn't experience any improvements in the signal when I was testing Mavic 2 Pro with this one side to side. an exact same spot where Mavic 2 Pro lost signal, this one lost signal as well. And I don't know, when I was flying I felt like the signal is pretty much the same. But my friends who have the same drone, they say that the signal has been improved and they actually experienced that now I can fly way further away than it was before. Stability when flying. So yeah, that's something I notice when you fly in a windy conditions. So when you fly overall, it feels significantly more stable. I mean, Mavic 2 Pro was a stable drone, but this one probably brings it on another level. It feels really stable in windy conditions and all kind of stuff, you know, like, and it feels like when you locked on a position, it feels like it doesn't move at all. And that's probably like, I don't know, something, sometimes in some conditions you really want to make those steady shots, or if you do long exposure or something like this, so it's really good. So let's talk, why did I pull the trigger for a Cine version instead of buying a fly-in combo or something like this? So I've been thinking a lot about which one to buy, and it wasn't an easy choice, but I decided to went with Cine version. First of all, because I really did like the remote control, and I was gonna buy the remote control anyways, and I was thinking like, if I buy a fly-in combo, which is 3000, and by the way, the basic version is 2200 and the fly-in combo is 3000 and the Cine version is 5000. So I was thinking like, if I buy a fly-in combo which is $3000, I still have to buy the remote control which is 1200, which makes it all already 4200, and basically I left with $800, which I pay for ProRes license, which for instance in Inspire 2 is $1000, and here I basically pay about $400 for it, and the other $400 I spent on a 1TB SSD, which is probably a really good deal, because if you look at prices on SSD drives when you buy a Mac computer or laptop, they are significantly more expensive than you basically pay it here. And 1TB SSD is kind of nice too, because you don't have to worry as much about media and stuff, and it's really fast when you dump footage on your computer. It really a big difference in terms of how fast it goes, and you can copy everything, which sometimes was taking a little bit too long when it was doing from a micro SD card. So I kind of like it. So I decided to spend this $800 on basically ProRes license on 1TB, and those set of ND filters which don't make any sense, because there are two sets that one of them goes from 128 to 512. I don't know. I will never use it. I never even carry it in my bag. I removed it and I placed it in the shelf, because I probably will never gonna use it. But the other set is useful. 5000 is expensive, and I feel like if you don't care about remote, you probably can be absolutely fine with the version of flying combo, because I compared H.265 and ProRes files, and there is pretty much no difference. They both look great. H.265 compression is really nice, and it has enough information to manipulate. So I don't know, I didn't experience any significant quality loss when I was flying H.265. So if you don't worry about ProRes license and shooting ProRes, then you probably don't need it. And but for those who care about the highest quality ProRes, quite honestly, the clients when you say it's capable of recording ProRes HQ, they say, oh shit, this is great, even though they probably don't know that there is no difference of flying H.265 or ProRes on this drone, on this particular drone. But yeah, they kind of impressed by that you are capable of doing this. Or if you do some stock footage, again, the highest quality you can get, and it's perfect, because pretty much if you think about it, the only difference you gain when you fly and record ProRes HQ is that the ProRes HQ is lossless, which means every time you process the file, you do export and export again, for instance, and as long as you do in the ProRes HQ, it's not gonna lose any quality, where H.265 will lose some of it. And that's probably the biggest difference of flying recording ProRes HQ or H.265 on this drone. So basically, if you want to get the highest quality and preserve the highest quality, yeah, ProRes HQ is probably the option. And that's pretty much it. So, and quite honestly, like, there is not a single gear in my inventory that paid off itself more times than a drone. So therefore I decided, yeah, it's gonna pay it back anyways, even though it's so expensive. So that's pretty much it. I hope this information was useful for you. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.